Hey, welcome to another episode of the Leverage Your Podcast show. And today I'm going to talk email marketing. And if you're a podcaster, whether you're a guest or a host, I hope that you have email marketing in your repurposing and your leveraging plan because, of course, podcast episodes are a fantastic way of nurturing your email list, sharing content, and also, of course, using it to nurture and convert. So today I want to talk about a few things. First is your CRM and your email hygiene or your health of your list. And then I want to talk about some tips that will help prevent your emails going into the promotion or spam folder. You want your emails to get to their inbox. And lastly, I'm going to be talking about email marketing as content to give you some ideas of what to send, but also how to send it and format it so that it is engaging and you are getting reads, replies, clicks, and engagement. Because it takes more than simply sending an email to say that a new episode has gone live for them to engage. You need to be a little bit more savvy in today's market. So, first, let's dive into the health of your email list. Now, I'm not going to get too into the weeds of this. I have done another episode in the past that kind of delved more into the health of your email list and your hygiene and keeping your email list clean. But I do want to highlight again over some of those key points. So, when you are sending emails and you have a CRM, people are naturally going to, opt out, unsubscribe. It's natural attrition. What you do want to do, though, is make sure that you remove those contacts that have unsubscribed and opted out. I mean, they are dead weight. You can't email them in the first place. So don't clog up your CRM with those contacts. And you don't want to risk accidentally emailing them because that is going to hurt your health, your reputation, and could even get your CRM email server account suspended and closing it out. So you want to make sure that they are deleted and removed completely from your CRM. The next group of contacts that you want to look at are those that are hard bounced. So their emails are going out to them, but they're bouncing back. So they're not being delivered. And every CRM does have a report or a status so you can see whose emails are hard bouncing. Now, some of those you may actually be able to fix. So let's say their email is like, I don't know, Joe Smith at gmail.com. So let's say they send it to, they have gmail.co. So there's a typo, right? Or Smith is, the name is Joe Smith, but there's a typo, there's two T's in it or something. You can actually go through those and fix those and verify it and then resend. Some may look like bots, right? They're like gobbledygook for email addresses, a bunch of different numbers and stuff like that. Delete those contacts because they are clogging up your wheel. You're sending out all these emails and to these contacts, and there's a chunk of them where they're just going to hard bounce. And those servers like Gmail, Yahoo, Outlook, whatever, they see that and count that against you to be like, you don't have a great reputation. All those emails that you're sending, some of them are invalid, some of them are spam, some of them are not good. So you just want to get rid of them. The third group of people, and this is a little bit more of a gray zone, and that is those that are unengaged. So if you have leads in your CRM that haven't opened, haven't replied, engaged, clicked, done anything in over 6 months, a year, just get rid of those contacts because they're not engaging, they're dead weight, and it actually impacts the deliverability of the other emails that are good leads, that are active, that are taking action. So Google, as an example, looks at whether people open their emails from you, from your domain, from your email address. And if most of them do not open, do not engage, they think that you aren't reputable and they will put your emails in the junk and the promo folder. And so your contacts won't even see those emails. So what you will do, or what you should do, is segment those unengaged people so that they are separate. You can't email them every now and then to see if they will come back. But you don't want them to be sent emails along with all your other active contacts, because it's going to impact the deliverability of those good active leads. And I'm hoping, of course, that you have a re-engagement sequence. So once they become unengaged after 30 days, 45 days, that you're going to send out this re-engagement sequence that is going to give them another offer that maybe that would pique their interest, or double checking to say, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. I want to make sure that you still want to be in contact with me, or, I'm going to unsubscribe you. So you do not want to keep contacts on your list that have been unengaged, even some people even say 60 days. If they haven't opened anything in 60 days, they're not going to. So just being really astringent in segmenting your list that way. Now, you also want to prevent Google, Yahoo, and so on to trigger your emails as spam. You want them to say, yes, your email is viable, it's trustworthy, I'm going to put you in their primary inbox. Now, there are ways that a lot of entrepreneurs, unfortunately, still format their emails that are actually triggering your email as spam. So I'm going to give you 4 quick tips. One is, do not use camel case in your subject lines. And you're probably like, what? What the heck is camel case? So I'll try to spell it out. I will have it in the show notes so that you can visually see it. It's a little bit easier when you can visually see it. But if you write a subject line, for example, 3 ways to get more opens, if you write that out as a title where every single word begins with a capital, so then it's like uppercase, lowercase, kind of like camel's humps, right? That triggers spam. If you write it out as 3 ways to get more opens, but only the word 3 is capitalized and the rest are not, where it looks more like a sentence, that is the safer way to go. So no more camel case subject lines. There are also, by the way, if you Google it, many different little apps or web pages where you can put in your subject line and it'll tell you whether it's good, bad, ugly, and how to improve it. So there are some great tools out there that can help you with subject lines as well to get more opens. The second trigger is when people have images at the top of the email. So if you have an image at the top, logo, banner, whatever it may be, it can sometimes show like a weird line of code in the preview or even when you first open the email. And so that triggers spam. The other item is if you have too many images in an email. It is good to have images, don't get me wrong, or GIFs or whatever in an email for, visual appeal, break up text, make it more engaging. You just have to be mindful and kind of just keep testing, right? But just don't have too many images in an email. The third is using trigger words for call to actions that are going to tell those email providers that it's spam. So when you use words like click here, buy now, act fast, click here, click this link, make money fast, guaranteed, that is a red flag for Gmail, Google, whatever you want to call it. So you need to be a little bit more creative on how you're wording your call to action. So if you have a webinar, then you would say register for this masterclass now. If you have a resource, download this, checklist now. If you have a class that's coming up or a program, enroll in this program now. Or you can make it more benefit driven, right? Start getting more opens here, whatever it may be. You just want to be a little bit more creative on how you're wording those call to actions so that you're not using click, you're not using buy now, you're not using the word link, so that it's more engaging anyways, but you don't want to trigger spam. And lastly, the little tip I'm going to share is not using a lot of outside links. It's more favorable when you use links to pages that are on your domain. So your blog post, your podcast post, that'll have your domain built into the URL, right? I mean, sometimes, yes, you want to share a YouTube video to get more YouTube views. Yes, sometimes you want to share a live Facebook that you had, a newsletter that you have in LinkedIn. Just double check and test, be sporadic with it, and also don't have a ton of links, outside links in one email. So you want to kind of minimize those number of outside links. Now we dive into what I consider the fun part. That's a little bit more interesting, and that is your content, how you're wording the content, how you're writing those emails, and how you're formatting them so that they do get read, replied, clicked, listened, engaged. You don't want your emails to be boring, and you do want people, your email list, to feel like it's of use to them and that they get something out of it. So my first tip today is to be conversational. Treat each email like it's a conversation. Get away from having formal paragraphs. You can even have like one line, space, another line. It just makes it feel like it's more of a conversation, and it draws the reader in. Use words that you would normally use in a conversation. Literally, pretend that you're talking to one specific person, and it's not like a really formal, professional, article type email. You want it to feel like it's from you as a person to the reader as a person, and that you're connecting with them on a human level. You're relating to them so that they will want to hear from you and open and read and engage. Another great way of doing that, of course, is my second tip, which is to tell stories. Don't be afraid to share a story of something that happened in the podcast episode when you had someone on for an interview, or a show that you guested on, or a summit that you were on. Maybe how you met them, maybe a funny little tidbit that you had in the green room before, or a funny part of the episode, or a piece of the episode that you found really engaging and thought-provoking and was just really profound, and you thought it would pique the interest of the reader. And yeah, sometimes stories will feel a little bit long-winded, and it might feel long in the actual copy, but honestly, it will bring that person into the email, and they will feel like they're relating to you on a more personal level. They'll get to know you, and they will engage to read more. The third point that I want to bring up is how you're formatting emails when you are sharing a podcast episode, is to always think, what is in it for the reader? What can I give them that will help them today, where even if they don't have time to click the button and listen and watch and read, what can they take away from a quick scan of that email that is of use for them? So let's say you're sharing an episode that you hosted that went live, you can relate to them, of course, talk about the problem, but then give them a couple of tips right away that are in that episode. And then, of course, you'd want to tease for them to watch and listen to the rest of the episode. But giving them a couple of quick tips will make them read it, but it will also make them open more emails in the future because they know they're going to get a quick tip from you. Now, my fourth quick tip is to tell them how to listen and watch. I know this sounds really basic, but you need to entice them and you need to give them a reason. So you can direct them, like, hey, go to the show page so you can read the show notes, so you can listen or watch this video. They need really clear instructions of what to do next and why they should. Why is it important to them? You need to entice them. Don't just say, go listen to this episode. You want to tell them to go listen to this episode to discover how to boost their email deliverability so that their emails get read. You want to hook them into wanting more. You want to give them a reason, not just learn more here, listen here, check out the episode, hear what this, person has to say. You need to get your mode of thinking into the brain of the reader and the listener so that what is in it for them? Why do they have to click? Why would they even want to in the first place? So that is super important. My next tip is to not be afraid of giving them a next step. Give them a call to action. Do you have a webinar coming up? Do you want to get them on the phone? Do you want them to sign up for a course? Do you want them to join up your Facebook group? So don't be afraid to also give some extra information. Oh, by the way, in your PS or in a section of your email that maybe looks a little bit more like an e-zine or a little bit more like an e-newsletter, or has, a quote of the day, and then here's like a product that you're promoting or highlighting. So don't always assume that your reader will automatically go to your website and look at what you're offering. Get them while they're reading and share that offer within that email. Give them a next step so that you can move them through your sales pipeline and convert them from a lead to a client. Now, my next step or tip, I should say, is to repurpose your podcast episode more than once. Don't be afraid to create 2 emails from an episode. You can give one tip in one email one day, and you can send another tip, maybe that's a little bit meatier, in a second email. And that way you're staying top of mind and you're emailing them twice in 1 week. So you want them to get in the habit of opening those emails and reading and seeing what your offers are as well. So using it to repurpose. Now that kind of morphs into my last tip for you today, and that is cross-referencing your other marketing channels. So if you are sending out more than one email within a week, don't be afraid to send people to other forms of content and platforms. As an example, you can direct them to a YouTube short that you made from your podcast episode, which will be like a short little snackable bite that is easy to consume. And it will also boost your views in YouTube. Bonus, right? You can send them to a new LinkedIn newsletter. If you have LinkedIn newsletters go out that share your podcast episode, maybe you would want to link to that. And of course, there's a call to action for them to subscribe so that they also get notifications within LinkedIn about new episodes, about new newsletters that you are issuing out in LinkedIn. So that way you are connecting and engaging in other platforms where they are active, and it can also help build up those platforms. So if people are in your email list and they may not be connected with you on LinkedIn, this is a way to move them from there to LinkedIn so that you have more touch points for them. I mean, you can even send to a post that you have sharing a carousel. I love carousels. They're so good. It's like a mini book. There's like 5 slides giving some great tips. Another great way of consuming your content. So when we work with our clients, whether they're a guest, whether they're a host, we repurpose the episodes in multiple ways. And of course, emails is one of them. So once our client has a video or a podcast episode or even a summit, we know that they are consistent each week on all platforms. They have social media going out, they have an email going out. So it's such an easy way of repurposing and leveraging what you already have. But you want to be more strategic. You want to be intentional to attract and pique the interest of your ideal clients, and so that they're taking the next step with you. And of course, I did this episode today to make sure that your emails are getting opened, they are getting clicked, you are getting their intention, and you are getting their engagement. So if you do want support in taking your podcast episodes, repurposing it, and leveraging it in every way for every platform, including email, definitely give me a call. You can go to smoothbusinesspodcasting.com. Or, of course, by all means, I'm an open book. I open every email as well. And reach out to Lindsay, Lyndsay, at smoothbusinessgrowth.com. So until next week, folks, I hope you're sending out an email this week and using it to repurpose and leverage your content. And have a great week. And I'll see you next week.